Hello guys and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be discussing two different types of teenage men. So firstly, I won't even lie, I got this video straight off 1M. I watched this video yesterday about I think it's two different men at 30 or something like that. And I watched that video and I said, I think the teenagers need a video like this. Bear me a second, let me get some water. Yeah, I said I think the teenagers need a video like this, where I showed them the two different types of teenage men, because he went through and showed two different types of men at 30. For example, let's say there are two different types of guys. Like there's a guy who's 30 years old and he's actually achieved the things he wanted to achieve. He got to what Chris calls the male advantage, where he gets to the stage where he has reached that pinnacle in his life where he is the best type of man he could have become. And then there's the other guy who's most likely the average guy who didn't work on himself, didn't master his craft, didn't do any of these things. He got to the age of 30 and he said, your teenage years are your prime years. But a man like me and a man like Chris, he also agrees that your prime years are actually within your 30s. And a lot of men, well, the best men in this world, you'll see that their lives have peaked when they were in their 30s. So your teenage years is not where your peak is. Your teenage years is just a stepping stone for you to get to your peak years. But if you speak to average guys or guys who didn't achieve the thing that they want to achieve or do the thing that they know they should have done, they'll say their peak years were their teenage years, where they were smoking, drinking, getting drunk, doing all these sorts of things. That's why their teenage years are their peak years. When in reality, your peak years are yet to come. Your peak years are in your 30s. So I said I'm going to create today's video, which is two different types of teenage men. So Chris spoke about what it takes for, or how life will look like if you are 30 and you have gone down a different path. But I'm going to show what life will be like if you choose one of these two paths, and then you can actually decide, okay, whether you're going to be that guy in your 30s or that guy in your 30s, whether you're going to be that high level man, that outlier man, or you're going to be an average man. And it all stems from your teenagers. So firstly, one thing that me and my friend talk about, Prince, we always talk about our age, because me and him are both 20. And I won't even lie, I don't know what it means to work hard. Like, I can't say I work harder than other people, and other people can't say they work harder than me. We're in two different fields, X, Y, and Z. But I believe we kind of work hard. We do a lot of work. And sometimes we're just like, because realistically, we're teenagers. Well, we're 20, but the teenagers are from like what? Your teenagers like 13 to like 19. But I believe we do work hard for people our age. And one thing about that is, the people our age, they're doing regular things. They're going out getting drunk, they're partying, they're smoking, they're doing all these sorts of things. And as a joke, we say, there is no other side. It's either you go full balls in deep, hustling, or you enjoy the rest of life and you make your 20s your peak years, where you're going out just partying, drinking, and all these sorts of things. And we say, well, that's the only other side. There is no other option. There's no in between. A lot of people try to say, yeah, you can balance it. You can do that in between. You can hustle whilst partying and getting drunk. But we want to be the total best in terms of fitness, in terms of mentality, in terms of wealth, in terms of all these sorts of things. You can't really achieve a good physique if every single week and every single night you go out partying and clubbing, because you're going to be missing out on sleep. You're going to be intaking calories, which you shouldn't be intaking. You're going to be sluggish the next day, all these sorts of things. So you can't really improve your physique whilst also being a full club and a full partier. You'll see people who have good physiques that go there, but that's because they spent time where they were locked in actually building physique. You can't build up both at the same time. It's an oxymoron. You can't say, I want to be able to party every single night whilst also saying I want to have a good physique. It's not possible. It's impossible, because some of the time that you're going to be spent towards partying, you're going to have to spend that time in the gym. And this is what I mean as in the two different types of teenagers. Because there's a teenage man who says, okay, I'm going to lock in and actually do these sorts of things. But there's a teenage man who says, I don't care about these things. So firstly, I want to give you the different types of scenarios for teenagers which I've outlined. So I said teenager number 1 focuses on looks. He's quite feminine / emo. He wears makeup. He thinks the gym is pointless and bulking and cutting are eating disorders. And he does TikTok dances for girls. And this is a very possible person. Like, all of us might know a person like that. Me personally, not anymore. But when I was in school, I could definitely tell you a man like that. But then there's also teenager number 2. Focuses on skills and knowledge. He's masculine and driven by his passion. He already dresses like a man. He trains consistently within the gym, fighting, a sport, or a mixture of all of the above. Constantly expanding his network, even at a young age. And you may hear teenager 1 and teenager 2, you say, that's not realistic. There's nobody who's fully on that side and fully on that side. But realistically, in terms of the statistics, there are that type of person. And I say teenager 2 is the perfect example. That's what every single young man should strive to be like. Or when you get older every single adult or every single grown man would say, okay, I wish I could go back in time and be like teenager number 2. But not every single person can be like that, which is why I created teenager number 3. As I said, teenager number 2 is the perfect scenario. But there's the average person who's most likely teenager number 3. So teenager number 3 focuses on looks, but he understands looks aren't the sole purpose of being a man. So he tries to master a craft behind the scenes. So there's a lot of young men who still focus on look maxing, and there's no issue with focusing on look maxing. Like, it's a crucial thing. But it should not be your sole intent on this life. You should not be completely focused and consumed by looks maxing. Because let's say you are an attractive guy, but you work at McDonald's. No offense to people who work at McDonald's, but there's more out there. Let's say you're an attractive guy who does not have any skills. Nobody's realistically going to want you. Because as a man, if you can't provide for your family, if you can't even pay for dates, realistically, you're going to struggle to do well in this world. Because there's so much more things that are important than looks. Sure, you can be an attractive guy, but if you don't use those attractions, that word, I think I've just created a word. You don't use that, let's just say that attraction in the right way. Let's say you're not trying to be an actor or you're trying to be a model, you're not doing any of these things. Well, then your looks are basically pointless. Apart from people saying you're an attractive guy and you're getting some compliments here and there. But if you don't have the assets, realistically, you have no purpose at that point in time. So additionally, teenager number 2, he's not quite masculine or feminine, but knows he wants to become a great man. So he's not leaning towards caveman, but he's also not leaning towards femboy. He's somewhere within the middle, somewhere there that you can't really describe. But he knows for a fact that one day he wants to become a great man. And I'm not saying you can't be a great man if you're a femboy, and you can't be a great man if you're a masculine guy. If you're a masculine guy. But I think somewhere in the middle, that's where the balance is. And I think you see the most successful men, they're usually the most masculine men. Additionally, he still dresses like a child, but he has the desire to dress like a man when he gets the money. So of course, because to dress like a man, it is quite expensive to really put on masculine clothes, like the real men's luxury lifestyle clothing. It is quite expensive. Like, if you want to get a good quality trench coat, they're usually around £200 to £500 plus. If you can get the standard ones, which is like £50-60 or even cheaper than that, it's fine. But if you want the top quality men's clothing, they usually come quite expensive, which is why I don't really think it's something that you should be focusing on as a teenager. Of course, try to go with the basics. Like, maybe you go to, like, even my t-shirt, I think it's like a Primark t-shirt. It's just a plain black t-shirt. These pants, I think they're from M&S or something like that. It's just cheap stuff because we're young. We don't have all the money in the world. But when you get the money, rather than spending £500 on some black and white Jordan 1s, or like, I'm dissing myself, I even wear those. But rather than spending like £500 on some, I don't know, some yellow and green bright Jordan 4s, spend the money on some loafers or something like that. Or maybe some, we call it toe shanks. I don't know what the actual term for it is. But some proper shoes that would actually make you look like a man. Additionally, hasn't started to go to the gym yet because he's scared of being judged, but still does home workouts. So he's not fully against working out like teenager number 1, but he's also not as confident as teenager number 2, who's going to the gym and saying, I don't care who's around me, I'm still going to work out. But he's still doing something within the middle. He's getting his home workouts in. He's probably going on runs here and there. He's still scared of going to the gym because he's scared of being judged. It's a little bit understandable when you're young. It is quite a feminine trait. You are scared of people around you. Just let the anxiety go. Me personally, when I was younger, I think I didn't really think of that. I was just like, to be fair, I did have quite a big ego when I was younger, which is not a good thing, but it did help me to get myself into the gym. But I think that there's a middle ground which is very important. Like, at some point you should say, I should not care about what other people are thinking, because realistically, they don't really care about you. They're all locked in doing their own work. Most likely some of those guys in that gym have come from like a 10-hour shift and they just want to get their workout done. They're not really focused about the little 16, 15-year-old in the corner doing dumbbell presses incorrectly. They're not really focused on that sort of thing. And I think that is the middle ground. I think the majority of people are like teenager number 3. And teenager number 3, it's not like they are doing anything in particularly wrong, because at the same time, it is the average. There is, and I think one thing a lot of people start to disregard is the average. Average exists. As much as you try to take away average, average exists. For me, I'm not one of those people who say every single man is going to become the most successful man in the world. I think that the best thing to say is try and improve the quality of average. Let's say, for example, and it's going to make no sense because, okay, average is 5. Let's say it was to do out of 10. If you go 1 to 10, the average is 5 out of 10. But I say, if we improve society as a whole, why instead of making average 5 out of 10, make average 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. And that makes no sense because, of course, when you bang the numbers in a calculator or something like that, the average is 5. Please, I've done maths. The average is 5. It's 50%. However, if we improve the quality to the point where we was to grade it on the old spec, the old standard, so the old standard was 5 out of 10 for the average, but now we say, okay then, the majority of people have improved themselves so much that the new average is a 6 out of 10. Of course, when you look at the numbers, it's realistically it's always going to be a 5 out of 10. But the quality has improved. So it's still the average, but the quality have just improved. That is my realistic goal for the world. Rather than everybody being sluggish and being the way that is now, try and improve the average of men to the point where it's no longer just we are 5 out of 10, or realistically like 4 or 5 out of 10. It's now like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Of course, it'll still be 5 out of 10, but maybe I'll make another video and make the numbers really make some sense, but still. So what I mean by this, as in the difference in two teenagers. So you can choose which path you go down. There's either the path where you are teenager number 1 or teenager number 3, where you basically don't have a passion, you don't have a drive. And of course, when you're young, it's hard for you to know your passion, know your drive. And one thing that really helps me with that is to understand who you are. Spend a day, that's a lot of time, but okay, maybe spend a day on studying yourself. Say to yourself, what do I like? What do I enjoy? Who am I? When you understand those things, you'll understand your passion. And that will help you to find out what you want to do within this life. And allow that to drive you. Allow that to be the thing that takes you towards where you want to be. And also think about your dream person, the person who you dream of becoming. And say, okay then, what would this person do? Start to bring the thoughts of that person into the present. Is that person realistically going to go clubbing every single Saturday, every single Friday, every single night? No. If that's your dream person, okay, maybe. But your dream person, if you look at yourself as going to be like Superman, some next high-level man in blacked out suits with all the cars, all of the physique, all these sorts of things, that guy is not realistically going out getting drunk every single night because he doesn't have the time to do it. He has to focus on his craft. So you start to think like that man at your age. And that basically is teenager number 2. There is different levels of teenagers in this world. When I was a teenager, I spent the majority of my time in the gym. I won't even lie to you. I would finish school. So during school, I'd actually play basketball. I would finish school, play basketball after school, and then have my gym bag and go to the gym afterwards. And I promise you, I was tired every single day. But I said I need to get it done because I know at one point in time it's going to pay off. And to now, it paid off. I have a fairly decent physique. And because I built all that discipline when I was younger, that discipline stays with me to now. And when I'm older, that discipline will still be with me. So when I'm 40, people saying, why do I look 30? I say, because I started when I was 15. I've been training for 25 years. That is how you want to be living. You want to be creating your teenage years or allowing your teenage years to be the foundation of your success. Your teenage years are some of the most important years of your life. And people don't understand that. People say, oh, we only live once, so enjoy your teenage years. Go out and party and get drunk. Your teenage years is where you build up a foundation. If you build up the habit of smoking every single day as a teenager, you're most likely going to smoke every single day when you're an adult. If you build up the habit of partying every single Saturday when you are a teenager, you're most likely going to need that validation for the rest of your life. So you're going to struggle to just live a regular life. And additionally, you are still going to be partying every single Saturday when you're an adult. Okay, maybe you might dial back a bit, but you're going to be craving it consistently. And you're going to be meeting people who you shouldn't have met. And those people are going to be the people that you go out with. And if you remember in my last video, many to disregard the bottom of the barrel crabs, where I was speaking about the negativity of a person. Like, if you have one person around you who's negative, it decreases your productivity by 20%. Now, imagine you went to the club every single Saturday. What type of people are you going to be meeting? And now those people are going to be your friends, so you're going to be spending the rest of your life with those people. No wonder when you're like 30 or 40, you're going to be telling people now your peak years are when you're 20. Because you met the wrong people, done the wrong things, made so many bad decisions in your teenage years that they're now affecting you when you're older. Because life has consequences. So rather than getting yourself in that situation, and this is more for younger people now, because if you're in the future, it's not too late. You can undo the things that you've done. But I can say to the teenagers, don't make those mistakes. Don't get to that position in your life where you say, I wish I can go back in time, because you can't. Rather than putting yourself in that situation, just don't do those things in the first place. And the thing about humans is that you won't understand how dangerous fire is until you touch it. So of course I can say this to you, but you may learn the hard way. And if you learn the hard way, all I say to you is that bounce back. Bounce back and don't get so addicted to it to the point where it becomes your whole entire life. Just allow yourself to be like, okay, then I made this mistake. Let me bounce back and get back to what I need to do. Let me get myself back in the gym after this. Say you went clubbing and you didn't enjoy the experience. Bounce back. Get yourself back in the gym. Get yourself back on your craft. Focus on these sorts of things. So, decide what type of teenager you'll be like. The teenager who does not focus on the future, who does not care about the future, who just says, I only live once, so let me go and get drunk after every single lecture at uni, or let me miss uni lectures, or let me miss school and go party, all these sorts of things. Or you can be like teenager number 2, who focuses on his craft, who says, I'm going to become a man in my teenage years. And a video like this, a video that will pair with this perfectly, is age 10 years in 1 year. Because teenagers who age 1 year in 10 years, or there's people who age 1 year in 10 years, and people who age 10 years in 1 year. Decide which one you're going to be like. Thank you for watching today's video. I don't know what day I'm going to be posting this. Maybe either Tuesday or Saturday. Most likely Saturday. Today's Friday. I am recording in advance because I don't have time. But either it's going to be Saturday's video or Tuesday's video. Whatever day you've watched it, you now know. Additionally, if you're interested in my free ebook, The Art of the Identity Shift, that's going to be the top link inside of my description. If you want to join the Gold Extra My School community, I'm currently doing a lot of rejiggers in it, improving it so much, adding more courses, all these sorts of things. That's going to have my Boy to Man transformation course. I'm also going to be making a free school community, so make sure you keep your eyes open for that. That's going to be inside the link in the description. Other than that, hopefully you enjoy your day. Thank you for watching today's video, and watch the next video.